Thanks, Lindsey. This week in movies, we are heading back to the 1950s from a film looking at life behind the silver screen for Marilyn Monroe to the much-anticipated Don't Worry, Darling. So let's start off with Blonde. And of course, to get us all caught up on the latest in movies is Rad, film critic. Thanks, as always, for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Good to see you. Blonde is based on a novel, on Marilyn Monroe's life, right?
Yeah, so, I mean, but it's Joyce Carol Oates' novel, Blonde, which, I mean, it's sort of based on Marilyn Monroe's life. Like, the key word here is biographical fiction. Okay. So it takes what we know about Marilyn Monroe's life, chiefly, you know, how she suffered, like how she grew up in an abusive home, how she went into foster care, and how then she moved into the movies and had, you know, the experience that you know, how she was kind of objectified in the movies, right?
Right, because we're looking at the images right now. These are the images we know of Marilyn Monroe. Well, actually, just before that, you know, Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend.
Yeah.
You know, all the iconic images of her, but this does a deep dive on into the traumatic behind-the-scenes moments of her life. What did you think about that approach?
Well, here's the thing. I mean, like, it's not just a deep dive on trauma. It's a movie that imagines all the worst possible things that could happen to someone like Marilyn Monroe. Like, you know that she was objectified just based on the magazine pinups and all that stuff. And it's the one that imagines, well, think about all the unchecked Weinsteins of that era. Imagine what the life that they kind of created for her. And I actually hated this movie. Like, I really hated this movie because the thing about this movie is that I think it aestheticizes the dehumanization of Marilyn Monroe. This is a movie that, you know, it kind of uses like the Life magazine cover photos of Marilyn Monroe and all the glamour photo shots as a style guide to make really cool looking visuals. But then to like sell those visuals, the director leans on all the most dehumanizing, degrading stuff. It's a movie that is just, it's not interested in Marilyn Monroe as the star, as this Hollywood star, as this talent. It's interested in her in terms of like what is the emotional abuse, the physical abuse, the psychological abuse she endured, and it just wants to find ways to make that look cool, right?
So then who is this ultimately going to be for?
I mean, I think this is for people who, I mean, if you love movies like Requiem for a Dream, or if you love the first season of Euphoria, I think those are things that are made by these male directors who use trauma as a way to sell how cool their visuals are, and look at how great my filmmaking skills are.
Okay, we do have to move on to the next one. Don't Worry, Darling. This one, a lot of drama behind the scenes, but we know about the, you know, Spitgate and the relationships, who was dating whom. But eventually, did this deliver on the drama on screen?
Well, look, no, I don't think anything on screen is quite as dramatic as the stuff that happened off screen. I mean, of course, off screen, there's so much going on there, and we kind of discussed this on the show as well, and a lot of it comes down to people thinking that maybe director Olivia Wilde was gaslighting her star, Florence Pugh. Well, so the movie itself is actually about Florence Pugh playing a woman that is being gaslit, right? In a sort of 1950s society, in a secret society. I mean, and Pugh, by the way, is just fantastic. She's always been an incredible actress, and she's incredible in this. In the story where she plays like this, she discovers that her 1950s style suburban housewife existence with, you know, being married to someone like Harry Styles, maybe it's not what it's cracked out to be. There's something unseemly going on. The threads are falling apart. And this is a movie that's like, it's a psychological thriller inspired by like the Stepford Wives and Rosemary's Baby. The thing about this movie is that it kind of keeps its premise hidden for way too long. It leaves us dangling forever. And when it all unfolds, you realize it's kind of a whole lot of nothing.
Oh,
because,
no.
like, well, yeah, because it shows its cards, but it doesn't tease them in a way that's interesting, and it makes these gestures towards misogyny and male entitlement, but it doesn't have that conversation. The movie's just too afraid to have the complicated conversation that its premise involves.
Oh, dear. Okay. Ultimately, who's this for very quickly?
It's for people who like movies like Spiderhead or, you know, like, I'm thinking of Spiderhead, I'm thinking of I can't even remember my second choice. But yeah, if you like Spiderhead.
Movies like that. Okay, well, you know what? Oh, the anticipation for that was huge. And sounds like it might be a little bit of a disappointment. But you're never a disappointment, Rad. And that's why we love having you here. Thanks so much.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.